Welcome and thank you for watching Mitsub TV. So the dust has settled on BKFC 46 out of Newcastle, UK, and we'll have a look at the card, see what went on in there. Now, first on the undercard, Dustin Raviaga against Thompson. This was a good matchup on paper. At cruiserweight, how did it go down in reality? Well, he went for it from the first there. Raviaga, he was getting a lot of work off. Success rate wasn't great. You feel that they were scoring pretty equal. But Raviaga did get a flash over Thompson midway through the first there, which tipped the round in his favour. But you could see from the off that Thompson was going to be a far reserved fighter than Dustin Raviaga there. Dustin Raviaga's output was significantly higher than Thompson there. Into the second there, Raviaga started coming really square on to Thompson, and you could just see that he was making it a lot easier for Thompson to get purchase on him, and that was the case. It ended up being pretty equal, pretty even throughout the second there. Into the third, you could see Raviaga with his high output there. He was exhausted. It was starting to become very telling there. Towards the middle of the round there, Raviaga kind of went down. They got tangled and he went down. It was ruled a slip initially, but seconds after that, Thompson caught him and put him down, and the ref waved it off. I think it was a combination. Raviaga proved that he had a really good chin, but I think it was a combination of the strike and the exhaustion that kept him down and forced the ref to call that off there. So I think that was the right result, and a great win for Thompson. Next up, we have Christian Nadoski against Aaron Blakey. Not a lot to write home about on this one, unfortunately. Aaron Blakey annihilated the opposition again. We didn't get much to say much more of him than we did in his debut. He went through Naf Hickson in his debut in seconds. And yeah, same here. I think it was 90 seconds this one was over. He caught Christian Nadoski about 30 seconds in, and you could see Nadoski's equilibrium was all over it as he was sat on the deck there. He managed to pull it together a little bit, but you could see he wasn't recovered. His eyes were out on stalks. He was defending, and there wasn't anything there. You could see that at that point he lost. It was just a case of when Blakey was gonna finish it. Where does Aaron Blakey go from this point? He's 2 fights in. Time-wise, we haven't seen more than a round from him. And, he needs to get some rounds in, you feel, don't you? Going into his third fight. Are we going to see him really push it and take the risks, take on the likes of Luke Nevin or George Thorpe? That's a real dangerous fight. Both of those are very, very dangerous fights for Aaron Blakey. Or, if you're managing Blakey, you're probably looking at putting him in with someone like Jamie Hendry, someone you maybe would hope that he would have the better of, but would take him a few rounds down. And Jamie Hendry, he's awkward as well. He's going to give Blakey a lot to think about while he's in there. George Thorpe, Luke Nevin, they're a lot cleaner fighters. So maybe, we'll see there's going to be more signings likely by the next time that Blakey gets out. But certainly we could do with seeing some extra rounds out of him and see how he reacts. He's never been caught. He's never been checked. So we don't know how he's going to react. There's so many questions unanswered there for Aaron Blakey. So let's see who he goes up against next. Be very interesting, but very good job. Great job, Aaron Blakey. Next fight up on the card was Ben Hatchet against Robbie Brown at featherweight. Eventually, Robbie Brown is fighting someone somewhere in the vicinity of his own size, and this was a bizarre one, wasn't it? It was very difficult to understand what exactly was going on in there. A lot of urgency about Ben. He seemed to be very excited and almost in a panicked state, to be honest. And yeah, he seemed to be. There's questionable downs there. I don't even know if there was contact on that first one. And then on the third down there, it looked like Robbie was holding him up momentarily, and Ben actually had to had to slip out of out of his grasp there to get down. So yeah, I don't know if Ben Hatchet. I haven't seen that much of him. Like I said, in my predictions, what I had seen, he looked like a pit fighter, but I didn't even see that in this one. He seemed to be going down a little bit too easy for what you would expect a pit fighter to go down. Pit fighters are usually quite durable fighters. So in this one, yeah, I didn't get that either. Not sure what was going on, to be honest with you. And yeah, it looked like he did get caught with a nice left there, which ended it, but it didn't go out the first. And Robbie Brown walked away with the win. Well done, Robbie Brown. So first fight on the main card, Patrick Sargan against Morgan Starkey. Now I'd flagged up Sargan for the win on this, and that was the case, although it was a lot quicker than I'd anticipated it would be. Morgan Starkey was down within the first 10 seconds, and then 10 seconds past that, he was down and finished off. It really was as straightforward as that. He just did not have any answer for Patrick Sargan. And so, yeah, well done, Patrick Sargan. And next on the card, we have Hayden Sheriff against Gary Fox. Now, if you watch my prediction video, this was the easiest fight on the card for me to predict. I just couldn't see how Sheriff was going to have any answers for Gary Fox. And that proved to be the case. It was over very, very quickly. Sheriff got caught across the temple, went down, and notified the referee that he was unable to see. And that was the end of that. So well done, Gary Fox. So where does Gary Fox go from here? I mean, I'm thinking of headaches for Gary Fox at 145. Nice natural go-to if Ellis Shepherd is happy to come down to 145 again. I think that would be a very good fight. I think Ellis Shepherd would be a right headache for Gary Fox and vice versa. So for me, that would be the most natural go-to. But they're signing all the time. We don't know who they're bringing in at this point, so anything could pop up. But for me, that would be a fight that I would like to see. I think they would be a real headache for each other. Next up, there was Kosher against Cruel. Now, this was a great fight, really good fight, even though, it did seem that Cruel had he had the advantage all the way through, apart from the third where Kosher put him down. It did seem, like I said in my prediction, I didn't think that Kosher was going to have sufficient of a stand-up game to deal with Cruel, and that did seem to be how it went down. Kosher is absolutely, he's another one of these different DNA fighters, just so tough, so incredibly tough. And yeah, he managed to take it all five. How, I don't know. He took a lot of damage, and he just kept on going. So, hats off to Kosher for that. Just didn't have enough to get through Cruel on this one, and yeah, it went all the way, and all of the judges felt the same way, awarded the win to Bart Cruel. So well done, Bart Cruel. So next up, we have Aaron Foster against Paul Cook. This was the only fight on the main card that I decided not to have a prediction on, just because I didn't know enough about these fighters to have an educated prediction on this fight. What I had noted and what I had seen in the past from these is neither of them looked like they had enough urgency about them, and this could well come down to just whoever decides to get on with it first. And that seemed to be how it was, really. Paul Cook was the one who decided to get on with it, and it was over in 30 seconds. Aaron Foster, not sure what happened with him. He came off the scratch line. He was the first one to land. He let out a really sloppy jab, and then he just went straight on the back foot into cover. And I'm not sure why, because there was no immediate advancement from Paul Cook. And then Paul Cook, yeah, he was welcoming Paul Cook in. Paul Cook said thank you very much, came in, dropped him, and then he got back to his feet and did exactly the same again, and got dropped, and it was over. So it was very strange from Aaron Foster. Not sure what went on there. Paul Cook just said thank you very much and took advantage of that. So congratulations, Paul Cook. So next up, you've got Danek Penitza against Lewis Keane. Now, there was so much build-up energy in this. You could feel it, the energy in the ring. Both of these were coiled, were ready to go. at the start of this one, and it showed the way they started. They both started the same. They were so uptight, so tense. There's so much energy in there between them that there wasn't a lot going on with regards to skill at the start of it. They were just burning off some excess energy, really. About 90 seconds in, you could start to see Penitza actually started to relax first, and then Lewis Keane followed suit soon after, and you could start to see they were starting to relax out, to flatten out, and the fight was starting to become a little bit more fluid, and they were going to start to be able to show their skills. And going into the second there, they've come out completely different tempo. They're both completely relaxed and in the flow now. One thing you can see is that Penitza, he does seem to have a blueprint for Keane there, and he wants to take him out on the counter. That has become very obvious, and he's making Keane think. Keane isn't coming forward too reckless or anything. Penitza, he does have a good defense, and he's making Keane think throughout the second there. And then we're into the third round there, and we can see Lewis Keane just nice and gently just backs Penitza up against the steels there. No real urgency, no exchanges, no interaction going on here. There's a lot of feinting. Lewis Keane is telling Penitza that he's coming for his head. Feinting to the head there. Penitza's guard just comes up, and once the gap is left there to the body, Lewis Keane just takes advantage of that, drops Penitza, and that's game over. Absolutely great win for Lewis Keane there. Really clever, really nice to see the way he put that together. Love seeing work like that. Congratulations, Lewis Keane. So next up we have Ben Bonner against Robert Barry. Now this was a great matchup on paper. I had flagged up Robert Barry for the win on this one, and going into the first round, it was a little bit of a scruffy round, the first one, and Robert Barry did manage to put Bonner on his backside towards the end of the first there, but yeah, it was a little bit of a tit-for-tat scruffy round of the first. Going into the second there, Robert Barry came out and he just bullied Ben Bonner for the first half of the first round. Ben Bonner started to get some resistance towards the middle of the round there, but he was committing when he was out of shape, which was leaving him open, which is where most of Robert Barry's scoring was coming from in this. But yeah, you're getting the feeling there. I mean, Ben Bonner is taking on a little bit of damage there, but certainly Robert Barry is a couple of rounds ahead in this. And then we go into the third then. This is Ben Bonner's best round so far, but still not enough to take the round. All the significant work for me is coming from Robert Barry, all the best scoring work. Ben Bonner is getting his work off there, but he's still getting bettered by Robert Barry for my money. Into the fourth there, Ben Bonner finds himself on his backside again, and then at the very start of the fifth and final round there, Robert Barry just goes forward and floors Ben Bonner, and ref called it off straight away, and I think rightly so. Ben Bonner, he's given his all, he's an absolute warrior. He's all hard there, but just not enough to get past Robert Barry on this occasion. So congratulations to Robert Barry. Excellent win. Can't wait to see you out again, mate. So we're going into the main event now. Rico Franco against Kaleb Harris, and I'm feeling quite excited. Why am I feeling quite excited? Well, not just because it's the main event coming up, but because I've predicted every fight on the main card, apart from the Cook versus Foster, which I decided not to predict on. But every other fight on the main card has come in for me. I did predict that Thompson versus Raviaga. I thought Raviaga would might get through Thompson, but that's the only one that hasn't come in, and that wasn't on the official predictions there. So if you did see my prediction video and you did get the bet on, we're looking pretty good here for a 38.99 payout there, which would be just under £2,000 on a £50 bet. So let's have a look at the main event. If Rico Franco comes in there, you're laughing. And so into the first there, and Kaleb Harris making a bit of a statement there, really just letting Franco know that he's here to fight. And if you expected that you were going to dictate the pace and direction of this fight, think again, because I'm here to give you a nightmare. And he did. He pushed Rico Franco back from the off right through the second there. So a bit of a statement there, just laying the foundations for where he wanted this this fight, the direction he wanted this fight to go. It was a very good round, very good first round for Kaleb Harris there. And into the second there, this was probably the most controversial round of the event. Kaleb Harris, he was put down 5 times, 6 times, including the one on the bell there. I think after the third, many of us were probably questioning where the decisions on this were coming from the referee, because he must have been seeing something or hearing something that we couldn't. There must have been communication there. The first couple of times, fair enough. After the third there, for me, I was surprised that he let it go. Because of the significance of the fight, you can kind of understand why he may have wanted to let it go a little bit more. But there must have been communication there after the third, because you're starting to think you're playing with fire here. So there must have been something coming in from his coach or Kaleb. Maybe he was talking to him that we can't see. Maybe he was talking to the ref all the time. That was convincing him that he was able to continue. So like I say, after the third there, at this point, you're starting to think you would understand if it was stopped. He didn't look, he spat his gum shield out and what have you. That's usually a bit of a sign. But the ref allowed it to continue. And I mean, a lot of referees would have put a stop to that at this point. But then it went on for another put down. He was just getting put down, and it was starting to become a little bit hard to watch, really. And you're wondering where these decisions are coming from the ref. But I'm convinced because of this, the ref must have been hearing something. There's something there. It doesn't look like Kaleb was talking to him, but there must have been some influence from somewhere, because they were pretty important decisions, and as Kaleb, he's kind of flailing and hanging on to the steels there, and most referees would have put an end to that at this point. So yeah, it was a very interesting round. It's kind of a bit of a turning point for the fight, really. It brought a lot of emotion to the fight and got a lot of people very involved. And into the third round there, and Harris comes out looking relatively fresh for what he's just been through in the second there, to be honest. And but he goes on, he's definitely on the back foot throughout this, and Franco goes on to drop Harris for a further 3 times throughout that round. And so, yeah, I mean, the downs in this round weren't as bad as they were in the second, but is that 8 or 9 times that Harris has been down? Bear in mind that this referee is the same referee that stopped the Brown v Ben Hatchet fight. So just put that into context. So you're just pondering, well, what's going on here? And so they come out for the fourth. Now, not only does Kaleb Harris amazingly come out for the fourth there, but he comes out on the offensive. Not only does he come out on the offensive, he really does have Rico on the back foot, and he pauses Rico Franco towards the middle of the round. He hurts Rico Franco with a big right. This knocks Rico Franco's gum shield out. The referee, rightly so, does not stop it for the gum shield drop. He gives Kaleb Harris the momentum to take advantage of that, because I mean he's watching what we're watching. It's now become a very emotional fight. This is one of those special fights. And yeah, I mean it's short-lived. He does put Rico in trouble, and you can see for a moment there, you think, oh, God, this is going to turn around. But needless to say, Rico gets through. They both go through to the end of the fourth there. But what a fourth round that was for Kaleb Harris. Really turned it around, give everybody in that arena a bit of a scare, and really he turned the fight into one of those emotional fights now, where everybody's really invested. And so we get into the fifth and final round there, and Kaleb, again, at the start of each round, he looks fresh. But yes, I think, throughout this fight, the recovery of Kaleb Harris is taken away from the fact of the magnificent work that Rico Franco has been putting in there. I think it kind of detracted from it a little bit, took everybody's attention away from what Franco was doing, and Rico Franco was given a great performance here, and he ends it halfway through the fifth round. Kaleb Harris goes down. The referee just calls it off. You can only take so much, and I thought that only so much was in the second round, and here we are halfway through the fifth, and Kaleb Harris is still there. Really did. My hat goes off to Kaleb Harris. Great recovery. He's so tough, so much heart there. Rico Franco just showing excellent skills as usual. It's what we would expect from Rico Franco. Give us a shock there in the fourth there, where he got paused halfway through the fourth round. What a great fight that was. It brought a lot of emotion. And Kaleb Harris, he has lost the fight, but he has won the hearts of the British fans. I think he's walked away with a loss to Rico Franco. But he has walked away with a lot more fans than he had before he came across the Atlantic there. So well done to Kaleb Harris, but congratulations, Rico Franco. Okay, so there you have it, my review of the BKFC 46 out of Newcastle upon Tyne, the UK. Please do remember to like and subscribe. The algorithm setup on YouTube is really unfriendly towards anything fight related, so we really struggle to get hooked up on that algorithm there. So any comments, shares, likes, any activity there on my videos is really appreciated. It really does help to manipulate that algorithm and become a little bit more fight video friendly. And okay, I'll leave it there, and thanks for watching. I'll catch you all on the next one.